This is also the moment when most people give up. Because yes, it is impossible. I don't know how I reached that jug. It wasn't possible. I wasn't tall enough. And it is uncomfortable. It is painful. It's like, I've noticed this in my wilderness experiences. I'm really excited about a climb, or I'm really excited about a summit until I'm doing the gritty work of putting one foot in front of the other to get there. And then I curse the wall thinking, why, Moses, why? Why does anybody think this is fun? Like, why did I sign up for this? I would rather be in my bathroom puking because this hurts. And we do the same with God. We're like excited about Jesus or excited about having a deep relationship with God until it costs us something. We go just far enough not to hurt or suffer or be in liminal space that we stay where we are. But I heard this quote one time that really made me think about my life. It's a quote by a guy named Brennan Manning. He's like this Christian writer, missionary type guy. And he says this: "The defining moments of my life have not been my sins or my successes. They've been a depressingly small number of decisions that involved real risk." Let me read that again. "The defining moments of my life have not been my sins or my successes. They've been a depressingly small number of decisions that involved real risk." So we've been talking about moving forward. To move forward means to make choices and to take risks. To put one foot in front of the other when what's in front of you seems unattainable. It's to push through until you make it where you were intended to be. And when I thought about that quote, I realized that I want my life to be marked by a lot of Jordan crossings. Like, I want my life to be marked by times when I took a risk and stepped out and jumped for that jug when I knew it was too far for me, but not too far for my God.
Amen.
And this is all just a really fancy way of describing faith. Like, Jordan crossings, liminal moments, it's just faith. A moment where you can't, but God can. So all week, we've kind of been challenging you to think about some of your whales, per se. Things that you're trying to reach for and you just can't. Or promises you feel like God has made, but you just don't know how to grab hold of them. So, what is your whale right now? What is that place where you feel like you can't get there? Maybe you've reached that point, where I did on my climb, where you feel like you are hanging there with your hand outstretched, waiting for God to just reach over those last few inches and pull you up out of that moment. Well, I want to encourage you not to give up. I want to encourage you to continue to move forward, even when it seems like you're getting nowhere. Keep your hand outstretched, waiting for God, because He will. He promised that He will help you when you cry out to Him. When the Israelites came to the Jordan, Luke was right, it was impassable for them. Like, it was too big of a river for them to cross by themselves. God promised them that He would pull apart the water so that they could walk across on dry land, but not until they stepped into it. Like, they had to get their feet a little bit wet before the river would part. And I find that interesting. I feel like it was like an act of faith on their part. It's like an automatic door. It opens when you walk towards it. And so I look at that and I think, you know what? They didn't have to have it all figured out in order to move forward. Like, sometimes we feel like we have to have our life together before we can make that choice to move forward, but you don't. Like, I mean, they didn't know how this was going to work. They just knew that they were going to step into the water and somehow they were going to have dry land. Because God has already made the promise that He's going to reach over and help you. But we need to make a choice to step forward and believe that He will. And that's what the Israelites did. So if you're struggling right now with choices about your purity, or struggling with what you're going to do with your life, what your purpose is, or struggling with like your relationship with God, don't give up. Like, there will come moments when you feel like you want to, but don't. Because just when you think you've had enough, you're going to make it to where you're intended to be. I heard somebody say once, I don't want to give up. I don't want to look back and see that I gave up just at the moment when things were going to change. And so, I just encourage you guys not to give up in those things. But I also know that they're very scary. Like, these moments can be terrifying. Because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know, what's going to be on the other side of your Jordan. And so I want to speak something into that part of your wilderness journey, just the fear aspect of things, because I know that can be a really, really scary spot. And so I hope that what I'm about to say really speaks into your wilderness, because this was probably the pivotal point of my summer. This summer we did some mountaineering of some really, really scary stuff. Okay, mountaineering. When I say mountaineering, think of like Mount Everest, okay? You got snow, you got an ice axe, you've got these things on your feet with sharp points on them to jam into the snow and the ice, and you're roped up to a bunch of other people so that if you fall into a giant crack in the snow, someone can rescue you. And helmets. Oh, I have my helmet. So helmet. You need these. Protect your vital, whatever. So we did some really freaky mountaineering, and we had to go up this mountain pass called Elsie Cole. That name makes me shudder. I asked my instructor as we're looking at the map, what is this thing called Elsie Cole? And he looks at me and goes, it's your grandma. She wants to kick your butt. And I was like, oh my gosh. We get there, and it was the scariest thing I have ever done in my life. Okay, what it was this super steep mountain pass, so steep that most people don't even go over this mountain pass, okay? And at the top, there's this thing called a berg shrine. Can you have a picture? That is a berg shrine. Oh. Okay, so, demonstration. Berg shrine. This is a deep snow crack. You can't even see the end, and you could fall into it. And so at the top, we're at about a 70-degree angle above this thing, and in front of us is about 85, 90-degree angle snow climb for about 90 feet. And I have my pack on my back, and it's super heavy, and I mean, like, literally the snow wall is like this. It'd be like going up this for like 90 feet. I don't know how many buildings that would be. But it's like 90 feet, and down below is this giant thing like that. And to give you a picture of how heavy my pack is, it would be like me taking Carissa and putting her in my pack. Okay, go back to the picture. So here I am, standing here above this bergschrund, looking up at what I am about to climb, and I'm freaking out, like freaking out. And the bad part was I was the last rope team, which means we had to wait for everyone else to climb up before we could go. So I'm just standing there above the bergschrund, and there's a 90-degree angle right here, and for an hour. An hour staring at this bergschrund, thinking of all the ways that I could fall into it and die. And I'm getting mountain claustrophobia, the kind of claustrophobia where you're stuck in the side of the mountain and you can't go down, and the only way up is 90-degree angle snow climb with a huge pack on your back. And so I'm like on the verge of tears again, and I started singing songs to comfort myself. So I stand there and I start singing, shout to the Lord of the earth, let me sing. Power and majesty, praise to the King. And then I got to this part. Mountains will bow and seas will roar. Okay, pause for a second. I got to that part where it says mountains will bow. And God spoke something into my heart that I'm going to share with you. He said to me while I sang that song, this mountain is nothing but a rock in my hand. What you are so afraid of, what you feel like you cannot do, what you cannot move forward on in your own strength is a rock in my hand. And I can see all sides of it from here. All of this around you, all the beauty, the wilderness, the harshness, I hold it in my hand, but you are the